Ooh, we're here. What's up? Let's see. Here's the notes. JD, plug in your headphones so you don't record the other guests, you idiot. There we go. What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're currently tuning into the CultPop Podcast live stream, aka Spoiler Alert, where we talk about and review the past week's comics, as well as sprinkle in a little flavor of pop culture happenings. I'm your host, Johnny Destructo, and I'm the owner of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex at 4327 Main Street in Philadelphia, PA. It's inserted aggressively into the beating heart of Manayunk. You could say that I am the beating heart of Manayunk. No one else in Manayunk will say that, but only because they don't want to admit it. With me this week is the lover and fighter, Len, the Bat Tribble. Tell the people things.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? What's up? I hope everybody is having a gorgeous, fantastic Sunday morning, and I'm ready to review comic books and more.
Oh my gosh, that was nice.
Sounded so good.
The gushing fountain of joy that is Brian Lieb is taking off this week, but here to seal that leak with his dour hot takes is Noel. I know. Tell the people something.
I usually have my name on the screen. I'm sorry. My coffee's too hot, and I burnt it. My lip.
Wait, did you burn the coffee or your lip?
I mean, where does the coffee start and my lips end? I don't understand how to answer that question.
My disc is too slow or my system overloaded, so GarageBand stopped recording. That's cool. I guess I just pressed record again. We'll see how that goes.
There you go.
We got an editor. It's fine.
Yeah. Also, hi, Andrew, editor. Everyone say hi.
Hi.
Today we're going to review some books, but then we're going to talk about this week's streaming events of the year. Invincible, the cartoon, and the Falcon and Winter Soldier live-action extravaganza. In the notes here, I have letters block for me to read the letters. Sadly, we have no letters. So, I guess we'll move on to the comics block of the show. And we're going to start with Alien #1. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, the Alien franchise and the Predator franchise, the comic books for those franchises is, they used to be Dark Horse. For the longest time, they had Alien and Predator, and they did the Alien versus Predator comics, and they've just been doing comics for decades, I think, as far as those two are concerned. And then, I don't know the full story, but Dark Horse Comics was chugging along just fine, and it put out the Alien original script graphic novel series, which was really cool, where they took the Dan O'Bannon script for Alien, which wasn't actually filmed, and they created a comic book miniseries on that, which I thought was kind of fun. Mm-hmm. And they were about to do the same thing for Predator, the original script. And then Marvel now has Alien and Predator printing rights for the comic books. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but it seemed like Dark Horse was doing all right, and they had plans. And then Marvel was like, nah, dog, we got plans now, son. So Marvel is just this week put out Alien #1, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Salvador LaRocca. And Diamond Distributors has this to say: the iconic cinematic terror makes its Marvel debut. Gabriel Cruz gave his life to Weyland Yutani. In the case of an alien attack, he barely survived, almost literally. We'll get back to that. Recently retired, Cruz is trying to patch things up with his abandoned son, with the help of his friend, a Bishop model android. But his re-entry into civilian life is not going smoothly, and his encounters with the deadly his encounters with the deadly xenomorph are far from over. So words are new to me, as I'm sure you can hear, but we're just going to plow through it. All right, so either of you gentlemen, co-hosts Len and Noel, we've been seeing the name Philip Kennedy Johnson a lot in the past couple of weeks. Who is he? Anyone know why we're seeing this a lot? Like, where does he have his origins? Noel.
origins, I'm not exactly sure, but the first thing I read of his was, oddly enough, someone requested that we review The Last God, which was a Black Label book from over a year ago. And Brian and I dug the shit out of it and read like 6 in a row. And it was very good. And then since then, just kind of earmarking where his name is, he did the Marvel Zombies Resurrection, which was really, really fun. He's done a bunch of stuff for DC here and there, but I started seeing his name a lot on solicited books, but then I started seeing it even more when they were talking about post death metal in DC, because he was writing a bunch of future state books, and they were talking about how all of these newer writers are being ushered into DC as what was going to be 5G kind of thing. So he ended up taking, Kennedy Johnson. Yeah, actually, absolutely. He is the first heir of Kennedy Johnson, but like the amalgam of the two in a test tube. But you had asked or mentioned earlier before what happened at Dark Horse and Marvel and blah, blah, blah. It was because Disney bought all of their intellectual property, and 20th Century Fox owns Alien and Predator. So they allowed series that were already ongoing to finish. So like that Alien 3 comic and whatnot, but anything, whether it was previously solicited or not, that wasn't yet published, got pulled, which was going to be that really cool looking Predator original screenplay comic. Maybe someday it'll come back, but like at least Marvel, same thing. At least Marvel they're going through the reprinting of all of the Dark Horse stuff. So like in 2 weeks, they've got an Aliens omnibus of all the original Dark Horse content in like a big old collected edition. So like that stuff's not going away. It's just being reprinted. Yeah.
Sub question.
Yes.
Did you guys read any or care about the Alien or Predator comics other than the famous crossovers like Batman Predator and Superman Alien, just the regular comic series? Did you guys ever dip into those Dark Horse books? Yeah, you did? No?
I definitely did. My brother had a dalliance with comic books for about 5 seconds when he was like 15 and I was 10. And he got all of the Image and Dark Horse stuff that just looked rad. So I read a bunch of Dark Horse Comics Presents where all of those Predator and Alien kind of short stories were. And they were dope. They were really, really cool. I had just and if I was 10 years old, that means I had just kind of brought the courage to watch the 2 movies, Alien and Aliens. So I thought they were fantastic. I've never revisited them. And maybe since they're reprinting them, I will, but they look cool.
It's a shame that we're not going to get reprints of the ones I just mentioned.
Yeah,
DC, the DC heroes.
Those ones. No.
That would be dope. Like I want the Green Lantern Alien book. I want the Superman Alien book. Batman versus Predator 1, 2, and 3. Hell yeah.
I never read the Green Lantern one, but
it was Kyle.
Batman versus Predator was epic.
Yeah.
And the Superman Alien one was really, really good because that was the one time I liked Dan Jurgens' art, and that's because it was inked by Kevin Nolan, who basically redraws everybody. So it really wasn't Dan Jurgens. It was Kevin Nolan's book. So yeah, that was cool.
Do you guys remember the DC like the Paul Levitz DC days where it was just like a handshake and you could do a crossover?
Yep.
Like just don't piss them off. Just don't piss them off, and you're fine. Now it's conglomerates and corporations making all kinds of multi-tiered contractual deals to just have a shadow of a character from a different it sucks.
All right. Well, what did you guys think of Alien #1 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Salvador Larroca? Len.
Why the deep sigh on Salvador Larroca? You should just catching your breath, or are you trying to say something?
What did you think, Len?
I thought it was. Having not really delved into that world via comics, it was interesting. It was definitely. I had no skin in the game, it's not. It's an interesting looking comic book. There's a little bit of an uncanny valley with the way that the characters are depicted. That really just it was just I couldn't connect to what was going on because they just looked so fake. The story was interesting enough, I guess, but the artwork just really looks it's not bad art. It's just so cold and unfeeling, and so static. It's just very static, and I just really couldn't get into it. But to be fair, I'm someone who never really gets into any type of licensed property comic book. Very few of them actually really interest me at all.
Fair.
So, I'm the wrong subject for this, but trying to take it in and just appreciate it on its own, on its merit as just a comic book, it just felt very sterile to me.
I used to very much be like that. Like, I probably just a habit of comic reader our age. Intellectual property comics were always usually terrible because they would spend so much money on getting the license and not investing really any money on the art or the creative team and just like churning shit out because they have to make a profit immediately. Right. But I think in the last 5 to 10 years, places have like a lot of publishers have actually really put in the work. Like G.I. Joe is a great comic now. Has been for years, actually. That's a terrible example. But I think the biggest turn for me was probably Star Wars at Marvel. Like, they put top-tier creative on that and just really went for it. They're just, like, good comics now. So I had hopes for this of, all right, take an IP. A lot of people love it, cherish it. Throw some talent at it and see what happens. I liked this. It's a net positive for me. I really like the story. And despite Salvador Larroca's human acting, or how he depicts humans acting, it still worked for me. I still really liked the story enough. I like the idea of colonial marine who's been through something and we don't exactly know what yet, gets to retire alive. Trying to reconnect with his son, but his son just so happens to be a environmental terrorist who might unleash something. I think that's a great setup. Yeah.
I was just sharing this to Facebook. So, yeah, I agree with Len, and I also agree with Noel. Len, I don't usually get into... Or I did not used to get into properties from other things, like licensed properties, with the exception of occasionally Buffy and Angel. But I was stoked about this because I also was never into Star Wars comic books, speaking of licensed properties. The Legend stuff, the stuff that is now designated as Legends, I never cared about. I never read it. And so when Marvel took over the Star Wars books, I thought, oh, here's a perfect jumping on point. Let me check this out. And I really do... there's dips and, peaks and valleys with the different series from Marvel, but I think overall they try to put some of their best creative teams on the books, and they really try to make it a quality experience, and I have been enjoying those for the most part since they've started. And I was excited about Alien because I'm a huge Alien fan and I'm a huge Aliens fan. I'm not, Alien 3 is a neat little thing to read about, and 4 was actually I think more than most people, and the Prometheum movies are just whatever. But I was really looking forward to this, and I think it is pretty good. I think the problem is that as with any Alien script, we are introduced to our characters, and then, like with Jaws, eventually we get some Alien horror stuff or action stuff. So this really is just a first issue where we're introduced to some elements, and then as it goes, I'm sure it's going to get more and more intense. But as far as setups go, I think that this is really interesting. The fact that we have one of the Colonial Marines, and there's a whole scene in here where he's trapped in the nest. You know how they sort of like glue them into the nest so that they can get face hugged. And he's got his buddy there who's flipping his shit. The fact that he's like, in Clerks, I'm not even supposed to be here today. And while that is sort of a funny note, the scene itself is actually quite harrowing. And you do feel bad for this guy who's just like, I'm supposed to be going somewhere with my girl. If I don't get back, she's going to get mad. And like, dude, you're about to get an alien burst out of your chest. Relax. Just take it. Just accept it. So I think it's a really good start to a horror series, and they've done something here that we've never seen with the Alien franchise so far. So I'm looking forward to it. The thing that I keep saying about Salvador Larroca is exactly what Len said. Uncanny Valley. It is that sort of the mismatching and how it doesn't quite look human, even though it's trying real hard to look human.
Yeah, show another page so the people that are watching.
Yeah, it's essentially when it's a scene of talking heads, it's just the way that it's colored. It's like smoothing out people, and it just looks creepy.
Rough. It does not. I
mean, most of the stuff that I've read of like Salvador Larroca is amazing with tech. He's amazing with machinery, and all of the stuff that I am able to kind of roll with his. That the art just kind of like the story overtakes the art has been stories that heavily involve tech or machinery. So his run on Doctor Doom was great because it didn't rely heavily on talking heads in a room. His run on Iron Man, same. His run on Darth Vader was great because it was the stories they swerved into his strength. But this first issue has a hell of a lot of two people talking in a room scenes.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't kind of shy away from it. I
wish I knew more about Salvador's process. Like, I can't tell if the faces are traced or not because they're just off enough. The eyes are a little misplaced. They look a little dead. But then there's scenes where someone's yelling and it looks very much like I just traced a picture of there he is. The lower left. It looks like he traced someone who was yelling. So it's kind of hard. It's a shame because the work is here. This is not lazy art. Like he is spending time on each of these pages, which makes me feel bad about the fact that I don't enjoy it. And it produces a visceral reaction in me where every time I see it, I kind of groan, but it's not for lack of effort. And the stuff with the xenomorphs is great. And again, you said the technology and everything is wonderful, but it's just...
Somebody, changing topic, somebody did ask, somebody asked me online, hey, is it Disney-fied? Is this childish garbage? And I referred to the scene where someone gets their face viscerally exploded with a shotgun. This is a rated R parental advisory book.
Yeah.
So if you were worried about the mouse house coming in and ruining your horror comics, relax. This is actually a really, really well done, very violent, in a good way. Book. It was shocking like it's supposed to be. It wasn't just, murder porn.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When people start saying that type of stuff, I always to me, it doesn't make any sense because whatever you want about the heads at Disney, they know what they have. I mean, they may have a whole bunch of stuff and there may be stuff left in the corner of the ninth vault that they forgot about a long time ago. But once they find it, they know what they have and they know what to do with it. So they know that they have this property from 20th Century Fox. They know the fan base for it. They know what that fan base wants, and they will give that fan base what they want. They know not to. They're only Disney-fying of it may be in the way that they market the IP. Thus it's now going to be in comics, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won't try and do some type of adult animated alien thing as well. But as far as what the content is, they know that what the fans are looking for, and they're going to give it to them. they also know that the Disney brand, that name, is going to be on your more family-friendly type of.
Oh yeah,
it's already compartmentalize.
It's already happening, man. Like they're developing an Alien show, but it's only for FX. So they're segmenting all of their properties, but still giving them that like Disney infrastructure hype base. But yeah, like they announced it last year. They're developing a show with Noah Hawley, the guy that did Legion and Fargo. Yeah, that's right. Which sounds great. I'm in.
Action Figure Expert asks, I wonder if anyone ever drew a picture of Mickey Mouse with a face hugger on him. Well, sure. I might now.
Yeah.
What I did like about this, just to go back to the story for a little bit, is the fact that we have Bishop, who is notoriously a AI from the Aliens sequel, who is a sort of a beloved character, and I like that there are a bunch of him, and he is the therapist that this guy is seeing. So not only is he seeing this therapist, who's a Bishop model android, up on the space station that he's coming home from, because he's retiring, but he's like, oh, I'm going to miss our talks. And Bishop's like, oh, no, I'm going to download all of our conversations to the Bishop on Earth, another Bishop model. And so it'll be like you're talking to the same person. Now, the kind of neat thing about that is that even though that happens and has another Bishop model, still a different experience for him.
Exactly.
Which I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah, that was cool. Like I said, the story is not bad. It's just that it's the disconnection of the art. Just I couldn't get invested in it as much as I
get it.
Liked.
Justin goes, I wonder if his art would look better in black and white. Hashtag restore the Alien Snyder cut. Alien is gray.
Maybe because honestly, to me, it's the color shading that makes it look almost metallic and mannequin. It's not necessarily the drawing.
I don't know. I still think the acting of the drawing is still very stiff.
Because if to me, when you look at the 5 o'clock shadows and the cheekbone shadows and stuff, it makes it look smoothed over, or inorganically smoothed over.
Yeah.
As opposed to just a pencil or just a black and white.
Yeah, the coloring shading is very aggressive here. Like the colorist is trying real hard to take these drawings by Salvador Larroca and make them feel three-dimensional, and it may be doing it a bit of a disservice. Even though the palettes are really nice, like the vibrancy of even just this conversation, they're very vibrant, engaging pages as far as the color is concerned. But yeah, it creates something that doesn't quite gel for me.
Before we move off this book, because I think we're all on the same page, like despite art issues, we all pretty much enjoyed it and would sample. But before we get off this, I remember when Marvel first got the licensed property for this and Predator, we had a brief conversation about which creative teams would be cool on these books. I did not guess Philip Kennedy Johnson and Salvador Larroca or ask for that, but we still have Predator potentially coming because now they're doing all of the Predator variant covers, and it's just, we're seconds away from them announcing. Oh, they did announce it. Oh crap, I'm an idiot. It's Ed Brisson. Forget it.
There we go.
Forget topic. Yeah, they did announce a Predator issue.
Who's the artist? Kev Walker.
Yeah, awesome. This sounds great.
Yeah.
Kev Walker's awesome.
Oh, before we move on real quick, spoiler alert, the name of the show is spoiler alert, and so we're going to be spoiling the end of this issue. Basically, on top of the storyline that we've been talking about, we have completely skipped over the fact that his son is part of you can call him a terrorist organization, you can call him a rebel organization, depends on what side you're on. And so they are there to take down Weyland-Yutani, who is this giant corporation that has been trying to weaponize the xenomorph. Anytime xenomorph is seen, they're like, oh, let's go study it, make bombs out of it, that sort of thing. And so they're trying to take down the lab, and they run into a lab that has xenomorphs in it, or at least face huggers, the eggs. And so the woman who is in charge of this facility, who knows that they have weapons of mass destruction, basically. Right. She encounters the rebels who have been killing the employees, and her solution to this is to shut down the facility and release all of the things that are in these cages. Does that seem like the best idea?
Well, she doesn't release. She locks the whole place down. I don't think. Wait, she releases them? They were opening the door, and she locks the place down, right?
She locked it down. Everything goes red, and everything starts bursting out of those containers at that minute.
Oh,
So
well,
and he even says, so she's got a little lab assistant. Please don't kill us. We'll help you. Blah blah blah. And she goes, security protocol, Lima Victor Echo, voice authority, Watkins 2. The guy behind her goes, please don't, Jackie. Please don't do this. So I can't tell if that was part of the plan, because he seems terrified, like, please don't murder us with these weapons of mass destruction. Or is it that they kill her for saying the command, and that breaks one of the things behind her? But then what breaks all of the other things behind? All these glass cases start shattering immediately.
Yeah, it's I know what you're talking about, and I wasn't invested enough to reread it to try and understand it, but I felt the same confusion of exactly what's going on. Why is she now locking it? Because it does sound because the terrorists look like they're about to go into a room that she doesn't want them to open.
Right.
And she's like, yo, don't do that. You got me. I'm your prisoner or whatever. And then she gives the command, which I thought I don't know.
We might be reading this wrong. The bottom right panel of the left-hand page, when she gets shot, she smacks into something. Does that release or break stuff? Not her code.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the one
does, but I don't know.
The one thing, the one case breaks. Why do all of the other cases break?
I mean, I don't think they break in unison like a choreograph. It's just all chaos ensues, right?
But what did her code do? That's what I want to know.
Her code locked them in. So what this sets up to me, they locked down the entire facility. So what this sets up to me is retired Colonial Marine is going to learn that his son is stuck in this thing, and it's probably going to be a mission to get into the closed facility where havoc is ensued. That's the setup for this action movie.
No, I got that part.
That was the answer to the question before, like what they're going to be locked in. That's all.
My question was, what was her goal there?
To lock down.
We'll find out.
Sorry.
No, okay. I guess that's true. I guess we won't find out because that character is dead and the thing has already happened. So it's not like they're going to be repeating it. So I'm just curious. It was the artwork confused me, which I think is a problem. How about that?
There you go. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next book of the week. Scrolling. Boop, boop, boop. Batman and Superman number 16 from DC Comics. Jean Luen Yang is the new writer on this series with art by Ivan Reis. Ooh. In the aftermath of Dark Knight's death metal, catch a glimpse of brave new worlds within the DC universe. But what are these strange planets? As we delve into the parallel lives of the Man of Steel and the Dark Knight, we'll meet new villains, new heroes, alternate realities, and a trans-dimensional collision that you will need to see to believe. It's the dastardly debut of a cadre of new villains, including the Spider Lady and her poisonous webs, Dr. Adam, who sports a kryptonite pendant, and the maniacal machinations of the unknown wizard. You've never seen Batman and Superman like this before, so buckle up and get ready for the start of a new era, courtesy of Jean Luen Yang and artist Ivan Reis. I was very excited for this book. I like Jean Luen Yang very much, and I absolutely adore Ivan Reis's artwork. He's one of my favorites working today, and he has been noticeably absent of late in the DC universe. And so I was wondering what happened to him. Lo and behold, here he is. And this was a very interesting issue. It does something that I think is very cool, whether or not I think it reads well. We've seen this before, where basically we have two stories that are going on simultaneously, and the comic book page is divided in half. So the top half is the Superman storyline, and the bottom half is the Batman storyline. I will bring it up now. Here we go. Superman in the World of Tomorrow and Batman and Robin in a World of the Night. And the cool thing is that the layout is created with film strips. So you're watching old-timey film strips, and you can either read the top bar all the way through the comic book and read the Superman adventure, and then go back to the beginning and read the Batman adventure along the bottom, or every page you can read a little bit of Superman, a little bit of Batman. I chose to read all of Superman, which does an interesting thing at the back end, and then read all of Batman. I think it's a neat idea, and I really enjoyed both versions of the story, but I still don't know if I like that layout. What did you guys think? As the Batman guy, Len, what did you think?
I like the experiment of it. I thought that it probably does pay to read all of one and then the other, but I read them both simultaneously.
I could not do that. My brain does not work like that.
I did it, and I didn't find it too hard to follow, and that made it that much cooler for me when, like you alluded to, on the back end, something kind of funky happens. You're like, oh, this is cool. You know, it just made it that much cooler for me reading it that way. I thought it was fun. I mean, I think the conceit is that while these aren't necessarily supposed to be the characters as they were depicted in their old 1940s movie serials, the conceit is that these are two movie serials from like I don't think they're supposed to be from the 40s. It's kind of like an amalgamation of now and then. It's like almost like timeless features. And I thought it was cool. I thought it was buckets of fun. It was a lot of fun because I recently rewatched all of those serials, the Superman serials and the Batman serials. Superman serials, they're okay. The Batman serials, that was definitely a punishment. But so it was kind of cool. And there's some really cool stuff. I mean, look, we get a banged out Alfred in this.
Yeah, like, we do.
I mean, like, come on. Like, for that alone, it's buckets of fun. I love the reading. I love the slight twist that the each character has from their uniform. I can see Randy just racing to find this Superman shirt with that S on it. To Batman and Robin, and maybe one of the coolest Batmobiles I have seen in a long time. That steampunkish kind of Batman with the just slight detail of the cowl in the grill is, oh my God, it's so fucking sexy.
That is a dope Batmobile for sure.
That is the dope ass Batmobile, dog. And what can be said about Ivan Reis? I've said already, his Superman has supplanted John Byrne's Superman in my that is Superman to me. And I don't care what shirt he puts him in. That's Superman to me. And I was never really a real big fan of his Batman, but he draws a dope ass Batman as well.
Yeah. Wait, you mentioned it before you keep going. Where's Ivan Reis been? He did like 20 issues of Superman with Bendis.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. I was because as we keep talking about him drawing best Superman and he looks great doing Superman, I was like, he just did like a whole run. So he's been over there in that corner and this is his first thing back, which is more
I
Superman.
sort of fell off that Bendis run for a little bit, so I kind of forgot about him on that book.
And I wouldn't be surprised it's because he's another person, like you said, like we've mentioned, the work is there on the page. So I wouldn't be surprised that he, went away for a little bit because he got to get ahead of the schedule on making this stuff. That Robin, look at that Robin. The Robin is like slight adjustment to the costume. Oh, I mean,
dude, this is dope.
This is just like dope comic books, and I'm I'm down with it. I'm down with it.
I'm so glad because as I was reading it, I was like, man, I hope Len likes this because I think it's really fun. And so I'm really glad to hear that because a lot of times, out of Len we get, I don't give a fuck. So I was like, I hope Len gives a fuck. Go ahead, Noel.
Nothing. I mean, the only opinion that matters is Len's. So I appreciated this more than I enjoyed it.
Okay.
So you appreciated the experiment of it, you mean?
Well, I mean, I appreciated the experiment of it as a novelty. If the entire series is like this, I will not probably enjoy it.
Well, that's where I was going to go next. Is I have a feeling now that both of these film reels have burned into each other, and we actually have a crossover of characters.
Yeah,
I have a feeling the next issues are going to be because at the very last page is just a regular comic book page. So I have a feeling this was the first issue, and now that we have brought these two film reels together, we're going to get one storyline, I hope, because I do not want to read a whole series like this, but I think as a kicking off point, pretty cool.
Yeah, so I started it, and I read it like Len did, where the whole 2-page film strip of Superman, and then I went back and the whole 2-page film strip of Batman. I didn't read all the way through and then all the way through again. Doing it that way, I think, is probably ideal. No knock to JD's method, but it showed the parallels, the story beat parallels for each story in real time, which was cool. Because like they would meet the villain at the same time, and you would really get that clear, and they would make a choice at the same time. It was like reading two parallel stories that were in the same track, which was really dope. I appreciated the construction of this more than the story because I mean, I think as a novelty, it's really funny. It's fun reading old timey stuff because every time the caption boxes would show up, in my head, it was just like a newsreel announcer saying it like the march to war.
Yeah.
Superman has, which is really cute. But after a while, I was just like, I hate that voice. I don't want to keep doing this. But I can't stop. It was a compulsion. But I loved how they dealt with the panel breaks. So the film reels throughout the whole thing. If you screamed like, yes, this is obvious where 35 millimeter negative hits the lamp too long and it starts to burn. So that was obvious. Go back, bring it back out.
Okay. And
then a couple pages back. So like, at times of conflict in the story in parallel, it starts to burn a little bit because you learn later that it's on a satellite with lights on it. So like the film going over those areas is when it burns and then like reality bleeds through. However, at the beginning, it shows the film in actual brackets and reels, like it's going through the projector, which is something I didn't notice until the second read through because I read through this twice, guys.
Cool.
If you scroll back a couple pages, it's very impressive. One more. It's just like to the beginning.
Yeah, it's great.
Like there, the next one, it actually shows. So the second splash page, actually shows the actual rollers, the film rollers.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right there.
And I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
It does that a couple times in the book. This is a beautifully well constructed book and comic.
Yeah, that was really dope.
I don't want to read this for that's all to keep the film on a track if you've ever played with a projector. I don't want to read this for an arc.
Exactly.
I could.
So it's awesome, but what is it? What happened? Where does it lead?
I like it. I'm with it. I thought it was fun.
It was awful digital. If you're reading this book, get it in print.
True. I will say digitally it's a little challenging, but overall I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you got to flip your reader and look at it in long ways. Hey, Inception.
I'll be right back.
Can you see this? So I can't look at my screen and also show you this. Can you see this DC website here? League of Comic Geeks website?
Yeah.
Great. So this is the next issue, and I was kind of hoping that it would show us an interior page so that we knew if it was going to be like a segmented issue again. But here's the cover, and then
It only shows the cover on that site, but what's the description?
it doesn't really tell you. And then
Oh, it's got the solicit. Okay.
Batman Superman 18, also even Reese on Reese, and then after that we've got a Wild West Superman Batman Saddle Up and Away with art by Derek Robertson and Carol Hotz. So we do not have Yvonne Reese the entire time, sadly. Oh, wait. Emmanuel Lupacino, Steve Lieber, Greg Capullo. Oh, he's the cover artist. Derek Robertson and Kyle Hotz. So we got a bunch of people.
So it seems as though whatever that weird thing was at the end, it's just going to be Superman and Batman traveling through alternate film genres and universes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Storytelling device. That's like, I like the idea of maybe them going interdimensional and using genres as the key to that, but as a storytelling device, I'm not exactly. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I used to do that.
Says Noel's impression of that voice, iconic.
I used to do that in high school to annoy people. So it's working still.
And Robert Monroe says, I'll probably get Batman and Superman number 16 this afternoon. I'm a big fan of Yang's work, especially his pre-superhero stuff. Yeah, like American-Born Chinese and what was it? What's that called? Hoops something?
Yeah, Dragon Hoops. That's
Dragon Hoops.
Last year. Yeah. He's still doing that cool stuff.
Yeah. And also he did the really, really good Superman Smashes the Klan miniseries, which was awesome.
Yes.
All right. Amazing Spider-Man number 62 from Marvel Comics, written by Nick Spencer with art by Patrick Gleason. New costume debuts. No, it doesn't. That happened last issue. King makes it personal with Peter Parker, and New York City itself will pay the price. And another fuse lit more than 30 issues ago reaches its explosive destination. What? What explosive destination did I miss?
The kissing?
The kissing.
At the end.
Oh, shit.
Last panel. It's the last panel of the thing.
So
I'll tell you what.
Did you not read it to the end?
I have an infant, and I was reading it while trying to get my baby to sleep at like 2 a.m. So I might have forgotten the kissing.
I'm good. No? I mean, that's how babies start. But I'm going to compare this unfavorably. I'm just going to compare it. I'm going to compare it to another very large
kissing
Marvel book, which is Avengers by Jason Aaron. So they've been doing this thing for 40 effing issues where it's the same rough plot thread. However, every single arc has felt very different. And then at the end of it, they'll remind you there's this plot thread in the back. So it doesn't necessarily feel like it's been a 45 issue kind of one track, even though it's all been kind of a part of the same piece. When I dip in and read Amazing Spider-Man, because I dropped off for like 25 issues and then just kind of peek in and like Wikipedia page it. We're just like, what's happening? Sounds cool. Great. And then I'll dip out.
Yeah.
After like 30 issues, it feels like it's still the same thread. Not necessarily the same story. Or it's not that they're telling the same story, which other books are doing. It's just the way that this is being done. It feels like a hamster wheel. Like the Beetle and Robbie stuff was 30 something issues ago.
Yeah.
And now there's a bit of a reveal for it. I'm like, this is just exhausting.
Yeah, it is a reveal for the character, not for the viewer. We have a full page, like a splash page reveal at the end of the two of them kissing. It's like, yeah, but we knew that in the beginning of the series. This isn't a reveal for us, guys. Like, I mean, I like the way we got there, and we got the two different parents finding out about it at the same time, which I thought was kind of cool. As far as the storytelling is concerned, the reveal was well done. But at the end, I was like, all right. That's why you say the explosive destination and you guys are like the kissing. I was like, wait, what? Who kissed? Why do I? It didn't feel explosive to me because I was like, oh no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. This is part of the reason why I ended up dropping this book a while ago. Not because it was bad, just because it constantly felt like fluff. It constantly felt like extra. It constantly felt like it was stretching things out,
Yeah.
and not even in an unentertaining way, just in a, I could be reading something else, or get to it. It was always constructed well. The artists on this book have been fantastic since Jump.
Yeah.
I really like Nick Spencer as a writer, but this book has been spinning wheels for me for so long, and I wanted to revisit it because Last Remains was well regarded, and this is like the aftermath of that. But it doesn't feel like anything has changed or progressed except a new costume, and I loved seeing Gog, but that's about it.
See, I'm having so much fun with the new setup. I love the fact that Peter and Boomerang are roommates. I love the Gog pet thing, and I even like what happened in this issue where the setup to the last issue was we had Bullseye, and we thought he was going to be shooting either Spider-Man or Boomerang, and it turns out they showed what's actually his sights was Gog, and I was like, don't you fucking dare hurt Gog. And then it's not he was going for Gog, he was going for Gog's inhibitor collar, which then immediately turns him into a giant kaiju, the way we usually know him. And once he has that inhibitor collar on, he is an adorable little goblin gremlin monster. So I really like the setup here, and I've really started to appreciate Patrick Gleason's art on this book when it first happened, and we went from Otley to Gleason. I wasn't super tickled by it, but like this splash page here of the Kingpin and Spider-Man in his new costume, and even this where we've got Gog breaking through a giant building, presumably killing thousands or hundreds.
Because he's cute.
He's cute, so it's okay. And then even the upper right here where we've got Spider-Man in a really forced perspective over the city. Very, very cool artwork for this book. It feels kind of epic. I agree with what you're saying, Noel. There's too many threads here. And he dips into one thread, the writer, Nick Spencer, and then many, many issues, he'll dip back into that thread, but without hardly advancing it at all. So it does feel like it's spinning its wheels, but all the other things, the main issue plots are so kind of fun for me that I'm still on board.
We've had a version of this before where I'm still reading something that you guys all dropped, and I'll describe it to you, and you're all like, that sounds cool. But the act of actually reading it, just, is there something missing? There's like a 10% of actual enjoyment or progression that's just missing. So if you gave me all the broad strokes, and the setup of this is really fun. It was fun 35 issues ago when it started. Actually, like 40 issues ago when they became roommates. But it doesn't feel like anything's actually progressed other than they like each other a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more.
With all that being said, I, not being a frequent reader of Amazing Spider-Man, read this and I thought it was just a fun comic book. I'm not a huge fan of his new costume, but I am a fan of Patrick Gleason's artwork, so I like the depiction of the costume. I don't know who costumed this Boomerang guy, but that person needs to be shot. But other than that, it's just a dope, fun comic book, which actually, even with all of the multiple story threads and even the slow pacing of them throughout many, many issues, read to me like classic Spider-Man from the 70s, because that's a lot of what Spider-Man was. One page of like this thing happening, and then they'll touch back in on it maybe in a couple of issues until it is primed to take the lead position, take its A story position somewhere further down the line. So it just felt like classic Spider-Man to me, and this issue actually made me want to say like, I'm kind of digging this, and I'm a fan of Otley as well.
That's pretty.
I have always I would prefer Patrick Gleason. I just like. It's very rare that I do not like anything Patrick Gleason does. And
also, just for a second, let's talk about the comedic timing of this book. Basically, we have a really kind of cool setup, or you know, the way that the story is told, that they've got the inhibitor collar that has to be big enough to get onto Gog, and Spider-Man has looped it up, and he kind of, you know, alley-oops it around Gog onto his neck, which then makes Gog automatically shrink back down. And as they're falling, Spidey has caught Gog, baby Gog, who's got his little tail wrapped around his neck, and they're having a cuddling moment, and you can see all the beautiful, sweet moments of Gog, you know, kind of tearing up the refrigerator, and he's got a cute mouthful of food, and oh look, here's Gog licking Peter's face, and they're having a beautiful moment. And the very next panel is them absolutely demolishing a car by landing into it at a high velocity.
Because he's not paying attention, he's having like happy memories. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's stuff like that.
Really,
I don't know if you guys know, but Nick Spencer, the first time I ever read Nick Spencer and sort of caught onto his name was when he did the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which is a hilarious miniseries that actually has Boomerang in it. And it's really, really good. I think a lot of it is out of print right now, but highly recommended. And it's got this book has a lot of those comedy beats that I think are really work well.
There's the early, so you saying this reads like 70s Spider-Man? The earliest I've ever read and enjoyed is like Straczynski. So like 2000 Spider-Man. I don't really like that style that much.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, clearly.
I'm surprised I'm surprised that was your first reading of Nick Spencer, JD. You didn't read Morning Glories? Because
I did. Yeah.
On the map.
Back in my writing for websites days, I reviewed like the first 4 or 5 issues of Morning Glories and talked with Nick Spencer a couple times. Very cool guy, and I've always loved his stuff. I really liked his Cap run, but I think even the Cap run fell into these kinds of treads too, because he was doing 3 different Captain America books and just stretched out his conflict for so long that unless you were 1000% invested in the character, you just kind of got a little tired of it, or it became almost just passive. Like when the same loud music is happening at all times, you just kind of start to fade it out. And that's.
I feel you.
Speaking of previous runs on Spider-Man, Len, part of what keeps me coming back is that he keeps pulling these threads from when I was a kid reading Spider-Man, and even this right here, where we're talking with Tombstone having beef with Robbie Robertson. And creating this sort of Montagues and Capulets star-crossed lovers thing with their children. This stems back to Web of Spider-Man, which I think was drawn by Alex Saviuk, if you remember that guy. Back when Tombstone was a pretty big player in the Spidey universe. So it's kind of stuff like that where it hits my member berries in such a way where I'm like,
you guys have a vocabulary for this stuff that I didn't even know existed. So I'm glad you're loving it. But I always am welcome. I'm always open to like jumping into some of these issues though, because overall I love everybody that's a part of this book.
Right. It's
just not hitting my member berries. So like, I like, tell me what happens all the time and tell me if I should read an issue. Yeah. That's all.
Ben Diano is commenting, very similar to what y'all are saying. I feel like ASM just doesn't have a good resolution at the end of each story. Like there is a definitive end to the story, but so many loose threads to keep it going. I'm having a lot of the exhaustion that Noel talked about. It's so fun, but I want to move forward to the new thread, I guess. We all are on that one, I think.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to be stretching these threads out as much as you are, Nick. The fact that we're still dealing with, what's the guy's name?
Kindred.
Harry Osborn, the Kindred thing, where he's just like trapped in stasis, which was not a great resolution to his plot. So anyway, let's move on to Teen Titans Academy #1 from DC Comics, written by Tim Sheridan with art by Rafa Sandoval. Welcome to Teen Titans Academy, packed with both new superpowered teens and numerous dark secrets. Teen Titans Academy student body includes Shazam, a new Australian speedster, a trio of goth teen expatriates obsessed with Batman, and one member of this first class will become the deadly Red X. Original new Teen Titans, including Nightwing, Starfire, Raven, Cyborg, and Beast Boy, take on the role of teachers and mentors for superpowered teens. Their goal, to shape the next generation of heroes. So, we've got X-Men, right? So, in the 80s, Teen Titans was DC's response to X-Men, right? And is that correct? The Marv Wolfman and George Perry stuff was like, this is DC's X-Men, or was it that X-Men was Marvel's Teen Titans?
No, I thought it was Legion and X-Men that were always kind of like you chose either X-Men or Legion.
No, it wasn't really. Neither Legion or Teen Titans were necessarily DC's X-Men. What it was, though, is in that the 80s is that Teen Titans, because of Marv Wolfman and George Perez on it, quickly rose to the same heights that X-Men were at that time. So they were the big comic books of the
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, I conflated that with sort of call and response from the two businesses. Right. It was that they were selling as much as Marvel's X-Men, which was huge.
Right.
Yeah. So, but basically what we have here is X-Men. We've got the old team teaching the new team. And I sadly could not get the baby to sleep, and I forgot to read this. But I do know that as a retailer, I was very frustrated because Future State happened, and there was Future State Teen Titans 1 and Future State Teen Titans 2. And I had subscribers for the Future State Teen Titans book. So then when it was released that there was going to be Teen Titans or Future State Red X or Future State Teen Titans One Shot or something, I forget what the hell the book's actually called. And I got in all the copies for my Future State Teen Titans subscribers. And then I opened the book to find that it is, this is just a reprint of both Teen Titans 1 and 2 in one new book. And I had a bunch of extra copies for people who already had 1 and 2. I was not tickled. So I have a bunch of extra copies of Teen Titans Red X1, whatever the hell.
Yeah, so come on down today if you're interested.
Yeah, and pick up a copy.
Yeah.
Noel's manning the shop, so go to Noel. But yeah, I did not get a chance to read this. I was looking forward to it, and I really like Rafa Sandoval's artwork. I do not know the writer's name or bona fides. The writer, did he write the Teen Titans Future State as well?
Yes, Tim Sheridan. Yes. I think he was writing Teen Titans beforehand too.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Do you have to read the Future State Red X books, Teen Titans books, in order to jump onto this?
No, not at all.
No.
I know Red X from the Teen Titans cartoon, which preceded Teen Titans Go, and it was revealed that it was I think Jason Todd in that series.
I don't know. I never read it. I never watched it.
Oh,
no,
is it revealed who Red X is here?
No.
Oh, so it's a secret. Okay. What'd you guys think of it?
I thought this book was rad. This reminded me of Avengers Arena. It reminded me of Wolverine and the X-Men. It introduced a lot of like new younger characters. Some of them we know. Some obvious younger characters that we know of, like Cassandra Cain, and like just people in the DC universe that are teens. But it also introduced a bunch of new ones that are like mildly connected to other heroes. So that was really fun. Ooh. And it was a cross between like Avengers Arena and Harry Potter. And there was actually a couple of really fun Harry Potter jokes in here. Like, so you've got Nightwing and Starfire teaching a class. So they're the faculty, but then the current Teen Titans members, which are like that bouncy kid and Wally West, Wallace West, they're the upperclassmen because they're current Teen Titans, and then you've got all of these classmen that are just being trained by the upperclassmen and the teachers. But you've got Nightwing. This is a very self-aware book, so Nightwing makes a joke about the Sorting Hat or something like that, and he's like, "Oof!" And he got no laughs, no response, and he was like, "Oof!" I guess that's even an old reference now.
Yeah,
and everyone in the class was like, "Oh no, we got it. We just don't like to really talk about it because it's pretty problematic." And then they move on.
Whoa!
There's a lot of really cute, self-aware things in this book that it feels it feels just enough amount of irreverent. This was a fun read. This was just pure candy, but it wasn't like empty. Like I liked it a lot.
This looks surprising. Like it speaks directly to what I like, and I love the Teen Titans. I've dipped in and out for decades, for better or for worse, and I like that they even have part of the New 52 Teen Titans in here. This looks awesome. I'm a sucker for like teen heroes and sidekicks and legacy and stuff like that. And this really looks like it's got a legacy feel to it, bringing that back to the DC universe.
Very much.
Oh, I am into this. This looks great. And the art is fantastic.
The art is beautiful. The art is absolutely beautiful. It was a fun book. It definitely, it's got that Harry Potter vibe. It's definitely self-aware. I was reading it feeling like, oh, okay, so this is like Teen Titans by way of My Hero Academia. So I was like, all right, it's kind of funky. I see what you're going for. I like the idea of not trying to, like for a while, I thought that in DC, the only Teen Titan that was allowed to really age up was Nightwing. So I like that now the rest of them are actually shown to be aged up. They are the upperclassmen. They are not even upperclassmen. They're the teachers. They're the faculty. I like that whole aspect of it. It definitely has the legacy vibe, especially because this is called the Roy Harper Academy.
Which again reminded me of Wolverine and the X-Men. It's the Jean Grey school for like this is a very, very good version of a bunch of things that have already happened in comics. True. There's nothing like original here. It's just really well done.
It's just a really great package. And I enjoyed speaking of the legacy of it, I enjoyed like the hints of the history of it, like because you have like the hints of Nightwing and Starfire and what they once meant to one another. You have Cyborg and Beast Boy kind of like rekindling their friendship, or reminding you of their friendship, even though it's now on another level because they're both adults, and there's even a joke about that in regards to Beast Boy. I liked meeting all the different characters. It introduces a whole ton of characters, so you're not sure exactly which ones you're supposed to pay attention to, but that's fine. This is how it's supposed to be in a startup, and especially in academy, so it truly has a school vibe to it. It's just not, and I'm a sucker for Donna Troy. So if Donna Troy is in here, I'm like, yo, I'm with it. I'm with it.
You quoted what I just thought in my brain as I was looking at the page that I have up here. I'm like, oh, Donna Troy. Oh, I'm a sucker for Donna Troy. That's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really fun. Yeah. It's really, really fun.
I'm definitely going to catch up on this. I feel like I should read the future ones first because I think that sets up the whole Red X thing.
If you need any copies,
I have 12 of them. Thank you.
One shot. Yeah.
Man, this
look at that Starfire.
I can't wait to read this.
She looks so good.
Yesterday at the shop, I had a copy of Teen Titans number 2. And I had a pretty tight copy of it, and I got it sold for like $150 yesterday. And it's one of those things like as a retailer, selling comic books that I have spent years accumulating, and the struggle between wanting to keep my store open and make sales and letting go of my prized possessions. So yeah, I messaged the guys yesterday. I'm like, hey guys, I sold my Teen Titans number 2 for $150, but also that means I don't have my Teen Titans number 2 anymore.
I mean, for that, you can buy like the first 3 omnibuses for $150.
That's true.
It's not the same.
It's not the
same. However, if all that really matters and travels on to the next world is the stories and not the physical artifice, then it's almost better.
Shut up. Let's see. We got one more left before we move on to the other stuff. I feel like this isn't going to take very long. Harley Quinn #1 from DC Comics, written by Stephanie Phillips with art by Riley Rossmo. You better read this closely, because we've got a red-hot relaunch on our hands here, and I should know. Harley Quinn here to let everyone know that I got a brand new monthly series here with a brand new status quo. I'm coming back to Gotham City to make up for the sins of my past and help the city recover from the Joker War. But there's no welcoming committee waiting for me, your favorite maid of mischief. And between you and me, some real creeps are working to keep the city broken. We can't let that happen, can't. That's what Diamond had to say about Teen Titans.
Harley Quinn.
I'm sorry, Harley Quinn. My face is all flushed. This was fine. I always dip into. Oh, am I still here?
Yes.
You started a little bit.
I got a spinny thing on my computer, so I was nervous. I always tune in for a new Harley Quinn issue. I did not care for the character at first. I liked her in the cartoon until sort of you start to think about the ramifications of her character and how she deals with the Joker, Mr. J. And I love that they are dealing with this. I think that that's great. The fact that she is a woman who has been gaslit, tortured, manipulated, and possibly murdered over and over again, depending on which stories you read. And she's dealing with that. And she's a new character moving on from that relationship. I love that they're doing that. I think that the Harley Quinn cartoon is one of the best things that DC has put out in media recently. Highly recommend that if you get a chance to check it out. So I thought I would check this out. I also like, to varying degrees, Riley Rossmo's artwork, but I think he works well with this type of story. Right. Which is not one we're supposed to take particularly seriously. But overall, I didn't really care too much about it. I found it to be a little bit confusing as to what's happening story-wise, even though I do love this panel, which you can't see because I haven't shared it yet. This panel of Batman standing inside a panel, and then within the cloak of Batman are other panels. Very, very cool work. Other than that, I didn't really care particularly about this issue. What did you think, Len?
I thought it was a nice little marriage between a creative team and the character. I thought that the story was light enough, but interesting. Setting up the current status quo, as it were, for Harley Quinn, a character who I have enjoyed since Paul Dini created her many years ago for the animated series. The story is fun. There's some nice comedic beats in it. Her with Killer Croc is like a really fun moment. Even her bouncing back and forth with Batman is fun in here. The art is very cartoony, very animated, but I think that definitely fits well with the character. And and I think that is the way to do her, because she's a character who is very easy to be, because of her nature and her voice and because of her history. It's very interesting to do almost hypersexualized or pinup type of vibe with her. And this really returns it to her roots of just animated fun, This strips
that away. In a really good way. Like she's not any less appealing. She's just not she doesn't look like a constant static pinup for certain audiences, which almost every other even artists I absolutely adore, like Jorge Jimenez, she just always looks like she's about to fall out of her clothes constantly. And it's like, all right, I get it. It's fine. Great.
Yeah.
I was fine. Yeah, it was fine. Every time we sample these books, especially books that focus on her, I don't like her as a protagonist. I don't enjoy reading her as a single protagonist. She's great in an ensemble. She's great as a foil. She's great as a wild card in a story, but her as a protagonist, I have no connection. I don't enjoy it. I watched the first 3 episodes of the cartoon because on your guys' recommendation, and it was just fine.
Really? I mean,
yeah. The first episode I hated. The second and third were like, all right, I get what they're doing. This is fine. But I just didn't continue after that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll go back and try again. But you guys. Yeah,
I found the cartoon to be very, very a nice irreverent look at the DC universe.
That's what you guys say, and I agree. But that first episode was so hard to get through because it was just all edgelord garbage.
It gets
and you kept telling me like, just get through it. But I lost the track.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm hoping that this comic book, I agree with you to a degree. I don't know if I can see her as like a single protagonist, but just like her animated series, which more becomes more of an ensemble show that where she is more just kind of like the lead voice on. I have a funny feeling they're trying to set that up with this series because they've already got her with a sidekick by the end of the series.
Yeah,
by the end of the first issue. So
more than once already, I have come back after not liking something and tell you guys I'm wrong. I want to have that conversation eventually about the Harley Quinn animated series. It just hasn't happened yet. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have the added value of approaching this comic book with that favoritism or that like happy memory of the show. This is just, so okay, like you guys can apply how good it could be to something like this, and I'm just like as it stands, it's just okay.
Action Figure Expert asks, would you guys say that Harley has become the Deadpool of DC Comics? I think that's a fair comparison. I think that's a fair comparison. I think for whatever reason, I like her more than Deadpool. I feel Deadpool Deadpool just doesn't do it for me. The movies are fun. I'll say the two movies are fun, and I wouldn't mind a third one, but he just doesn't do it for me as a character. I don't feel any type of emotional pull towards him as opposed to Harley Quinn. I do.
That's my answer. I wouldn't even equate the two because I don't care about Deadpool. I understand that she's there to be you know what? Oh no, I was going to say somebody else, but that doesn't make sense. Deadpool, I've never cared about. He is just there for gags and I rarely find them to be funny. I think he's great when he's on a team. Also, I think Harley's good on a team as well, but I have no emotional connection to Deadpool, whereas I feel sometimes I do have an emotional connection to Harley. So yeah.
I think along the to answer Action Figure Expert's question in a more like, I guess, business oriented way. Yes, the characters are nothing alike. However, yes, both DC and Marvel treat Deadpool and Harley Quinn in the same way. She like placing them everywhere and anywhere to see what will stick because just as pinups and as caricatures, they're very, very popular. So yes, I think they're the same. Yeah. But the characters are completely different. Right. And like your mileage varies. However, yeah, this is DC's Deadpool.
All right.
Or Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Just put that everywhere.
Action Figure Expert, since we're done with the week's comics, Action Figure Expert creates a great moving on point.
Well, before we move on.
Hey, that's my email.
All right. Yeah, let's do some plugs.
Oh, there it is.
Forget about
so if you want to help the show out, that would be great. You can go to patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo. And thank you everyone who does help the show out by going to patreon.com. All of our patrons are lovely. I appreciate it. And if you want to help us out, you can go there. If you don't have any money, you can just like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/CultPopGo. We also have a Facebook page. If you look up CultPop Podcasts on Facebook, you can find us there. And yeah, just leave us a nice review on iTunes or like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. That would help us out a great deal. Just tell your friends. Be like, hey, you should hang out with all of us on Sunday mornings at 10:30 a.m. where we talk about this week's comics. Or we could hang out Tuesdays at 2 p.m. where JD does an unboxing video where he takes you through all of the things that are coming out this week at his local comic shop, Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, 4327 Main Street in Philadelphia. And,
a really easy way to do it too is when you see us pop on your feeds and don't want to listen to us or ignore us, like and share it anyway.
Yeah,
just no comment, just
great.
share it anyway. Yeah, that'd be nice. Thank you.
So, you know what? Quick note. Roboto, someone 6 commented on YouTube, Radiant Black is awesome. I second that. Radiant Black is awesome. It's only got 2 issues out so far. I only read the first one, but it's very much in line with Invincible. And even the artwork looks very Ryan Otley. So if you're looking for a new superhero book to jump onto right now, Radiant Black from Image Comics. And Action Figure Expert says, speaking of Harley, did you guys watch the Suicide Squad trailer? Yes. Yes, we did.
A couple dozen times, yeah.
Yeah. I watched it twice. And I am very cautiously optimistic. And only because I liked the trailer for the original Suicide Squad. And the movie I got was not something I particularly enjoyed very much. But I do love James Gunn. I love, I guess, almost all of his films. So,
yeah, I was going to say, I think you're allowed to just be optimistic because the setup for this is wildly different than the setup for the last one.
And
in every way, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. And when I say setup, I mean all of the background information that applies to this film and scenario is completely different in every way, shape, and form. I think you're allowed to just be optimistic if you want.
Great. You know what? I'm optimistic. The trailer is hilarious. I love James Gunn. James Gunn?
Yes, that's his name.
And fucking Starro.
I hope maybe it's a fake. We don't know, but that's cool.
I haven't watched the trailer because I saw the first trailer and that was enough to sell me on the movie. So I don't want to be. I'm just waiting for the movie.
So you didn't even see a trailer. That first trailer that you're talking about, it was just like B-roll footage and behind-the-scenes interviews.
Yup.
Oh, okay.
That was enough.
So I mean, we spoil. There's a reveal at the end of the trailer that there's a giant kaiju that looks exactly like Starro, but you don't see it head on. You see it like in the distance while people react. And one of the posters for the Thinker, Peter Capaldi as the Thinker, has a bunch of like Starros exploding from him in a very colorful fashion.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So I think they're doing, which would be very in line with the kind of things that James Gunn does. Like he will find something very specific in pop culture or in the, like just the idea that Starro was involved in the meeting, the first, team up of the Justice League. I could see that being an impetus of like, well, let's do something fucked up with him, and like creating that kind of cross reference. Are you looking for the poster?
No, I was looking forward to see what the Thinker's abilities were, and if he was able to project different things into people's minds, and he can't. He just thinks real hard. He's smarter than everybody. And I kind of forgot. I was watching The Flash season 4-ish, I think, and DeVoe, that character is the big bad of that season. So I didn't realize that the guy we saw, Peter Capaldi, and this was the same character. The great trailer. It's super funny.
Yeah, the cool thing about the trailer too is that there's no clear way. So like trailers, they give you so much, but they don't give you shit because there are 17 main characters and the trailer only really follows like maybe 5 at a time. So you have no idea who is dead, who's alive, who might be fine, what order any of this takes place. It's the way that he constructed everything. It's like you think that you know everything, but we really don't know shit. Like honestly, all of that Starro stuff could be the opening of the movie. No idea, which is cool.
Oh, my phone is ringing. You guys vamp.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, you didn't watch it, so whatever. You hate me.
No, I don't hate you. I don't. I'm cool. You know why I bought in? Because I did on that first trailer, even though it was B-Real.
Mm-hmm.
They showed John Cena in full Peacemaker
Yeah.
costume, and I was like, Yo, that is like spot on. And after that, I was like, I don't need to see anything else. I'm with it.
You know, okay. Is there any way that we could watch it together, like right now? Would you be able to pull that up, or are you just against it altogether?
No, yeah, we can watch it. I gotta download it first, or I guess I can share it. I can share it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could you open a window and share it?
Yeah, let me find it.
And then we can cut this out of the audio podcast because I don't think listening to a clip is
you know what?
enjoyable to anybody.
Here's the thing, though. While I can share it, no, all right. So you can bring it up.
Yeah, if you share it, I can bring it up and I can play it because I have controls. And also too, this is like, I mean, it's not even we're real time responding to it, so that's fair use. We don't have to worry about anything like that.
Yeah, I just gotta make sure this is the right trailer. All right, this is it. Okay.
It's rated. It's a red band trailer, so there is things.
Oh, well, I don't think I got a red band. Hold on. Let me find it. Oh, here I see it. I got it. All right. Red band trailer. Let me do this. Let me move you over here. There you go. I'm waiting for the ad to finish playing, so then I'm going to hit pause before I share it. Okay. All right, ad. All right, there you go. I'm pausing it, and now I'm going to share. Go back to.
This is scintillating.
I'm sorry.
Streaming content. No.
I'm sorry.
It's my fault for asking, and I don't care.
Share the screen.
Suicide Squad 2. You know what? Robert Monroe just said, I hope that Suicide Squad 2 is better than the first movie. Now, here's the thing. This is one of the reasons why I think that the Snyder Cut of Justice League is getting rave reviews, because it came from a place of absolute terribleness. So anything that kind of comes out in any, like, when you're comparing it to trash, subpar is a spectacular achievement. So just comparing it to the first movie, don't do that. If you didn't like the first movie, don't compare it because it's just not going to be the same thing.
Very good. So I hit share. There you go. All right, so now I'm going to hit play.
Let's do it. We're going to watch it.
Ooh!
Oh, there's no sound.
Oh.
Well, this is not it?
This is it, but we can't hear it.
Oh.
Shoot. That doesn't help us.
Nope.
Sorry. I stopped it because y'all can't see it.
Well, we can see it. We just can't hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't hear it. You can't hear it because it's going through my headphones. That's why.
What if you took out your headphones and then just let your microphone pick up the audio of your computer? Would that work?
I guess I could do that. Well, yeah, I could do that.
We just have to not say anything.
Quiet.
All right.
I'll mute myself.
All right, I'm going back to the beginning. Are you not entertained, ladies and gentlemen? All right, I'm taking out my headphones.
You're going to risk the entire mission for a mental defective dressed as a court jester. This coming from a guy that wears a toilet seat on his head. We don't leave one of our own behind. Hopefully Harley's still alive.
No funny business, Colonel. These are dangerous people.
Team 2 is clear to go.
Fire. 3, 2.
What are you guys doing?
What? You. We're here to save you.
You were going to save me?
It was a really good plan, too.
Well, I can go back inside and you can still do it.
That's patronizing.
I'm so sorry. Harley Quinn.
Blood sport.
You know the deal. Successfully complete the mission, you get 10 years off your sentence.
Times are hard.
You fail to follow my orders in any way, and I detonate the explosive device in the base of your skull.
You can do the job for free. So this is the famous Suicide Squad.
questions.
And
Yes, that is your hand. Very good.
we're all gonna die. I hope so. Oh, for fuck's sake. Here's the deal. We fail the mission, you die. If we find out any information you give us is false, you die.
If we find out you have personalized license plates, you die.
What? No.
If you cough without covering your mouth.
Harley, although that isn't an open invitation for you to cough without covering your mouth.
What's the plan? How the hell am I supposed to know? You're the leader. You're supposed to be decisive. And I've decided that you should eat a big bag of dicks. If this whole beach was completely covered in dicks, and somebody said I'd eat every dick until the beach was clean for liberty, I would say no problemo.
Why would someone put penises all over the beach?
Who knows why madmen do what they do? This is suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
Are you worried? I'm going to get you out of here alive.
I'm going to get you out of here alive.
Oh my god! We've got a freaking kaiju up in this shit!
I love the rain. It's like angels are smooching all over us.
So what we have here is a James Gunn movie. This is just Guardians of the Galaxy without even pretending to not be. Like the music cues, the comedy, the way that the characters interact with each other. It just, I mean, he's literally just doing what worked for Guardians. I think applying that to Suicide Squad. Noel.
Before I open the store, what this reminded me of more than or just as much as Suicide Squad was his movie Super, if you ever saw it.
Yes.
The rated R version.
Yes.
So like this is Guardians of the Galaxy model, but infused with the very nasty sense of humor and real-time violence of Super. So
Yeah. That's a good pull. And I have a funny feeling that just like Super, which definitely has dark comedic tones to it, but there's also some real world shit that happens in Super that when it happens, because of that tone, when that real world shit happens, it hits you all the more, and it's that much more visceral, a gut punch. And I can imagine him doing that with the Suicide Squad. I did not know. I guess I wasn't. I try not to pay super attention to a whole lot of casting stuff because I like to be surprised. I didn't know that Idris Elba was in this movie, so seeing him one was a pleasant surprise because I'm a huge Idris Elba fan, and then two, it is solidified in my mind that Idris Elba is my dream interview, because you cannot tell me that this man who, not only now is he starting in Suicide Squad, and yes, he was in all the Thor movies, but he also, people forget, he was in The Losers years ago.
Right?
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah.
This dude definitely has geek bona fides that I've yet to see fully explored in an interview. And that's why I want to talk to this brother.
Even when he hosted Saturday Night Live, they did a whole Incredible Hulk sketch. He's done a whole bunch of like DJ stuff. Like he's a fucking nerd. He just is in like a British supermodel package.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks cool. Looks dope. Looks fun.
Robert Monroe says, "Cool, they had me at Steely Dan's Dirty Work." And Action Figure Expert says, "I have some people wrong. Some think that it's just a rated R Guardians of the Galaxy." I mean, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Marketed as such, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm very excited. I don't need any more Snyder verse. I'm happy with. Let's give it to James Gunn. Hashtag start the Gunverse.
The only downside to this is that this is very likely to be a one-off of James Gunn in the DC universe, because he went right back to Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Well, he actually you're right. but right now he's directing an HBO Max show of Peacemaker. So
That's right.
Because of COVID and all of the delays, so like they filmed this movie 2 years ago, and it was delayed about a year because of they finished filming before. Yeah, they finished filming before COVID shut everything down, and they just like, oh well, we have an extra year to fucking do special effects. But in that extra year, he wrote a whole 8-episode follow-up show about Peacemaker for HBO Max, and then got a greenlit immediately, and is directing all of the episodes himself. So
for anyone who doesn't know, Peacemaker is the John Cena character with the bag of dicks that we just saw in the trailer.
Yeah, so he's immediately jumping into a sequel television or prequel, we don't know, but a television show, a complimentary television show for HBO Max of this Suicide Squad, and that just wrapped filming, or is about to just wrap filming, and he's jumping right into Guardians of the Galaxy 3 at the end of the year. So in a weird way, James Gunn seems to be like the only person that is jumping back and forth between giant conglomerates. The best thing that ever happened to him, and if you're a fan of his, was him being fired from Disney. That's like the best thing that's happened, because now he's jumped back and forth.
Cancel culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm stoked about that. And then someone earlier in the comments brought up another thing that we're going to be talking about. Ben DiEno, thoughts on the Invincible show?
It's a perfect segue.
My thoughts are it's amazing. I love the Invincible cartoon. I'm huge fan of the comic book from Robert Kirkman, creator of Walking Dead, and it's an unrated superhero universe unto itself in Image Comics. A lot of it was drawn by Ryan Otley, and now we have a star-studded cast-led animated series on Amazon Prime. I watched the first 2 episodes, and it is just awesome. I think it's great. I think the animation is I think the animation is cheap where it needs to be and expensive where it needs to be. I think they use their animating budget very well, because there are times where we just have like, it's a cutout of Mark, Invincible, and he just sort of moves through the space. But then we have other things like action sequences where they animated it really well, I think. And I don't know how much we can say about this series without spoiling it, because I think a lot of the effectiveness of Invincible, at least when you first start it, is some of the story that happens. But basically what you have is Mark, who is son of a superhero whose name is Omni-Man. He's basically the Superman, right? He's an alien. He comes to Earth, and he starts a family. And Mark is basically the Superboy. And when we first meet him, he hasn't developed his powers yet. So we're still waiting for Mark to hit his power puberty and become a superhero. He's very much looking forward to. There's a Justice League, basically Guardians of the Globe is what they're called, and they're the pastiche of the Justice League. There's a Teen Titans version of the heroes, and I think they're called the Teen Team.
The Teen Team, yes.
Yeah, and it's just, the series itself is, I think, a perfect amalgamation of really heartfelt and earnest storytelling and character moments with just some of the bloodiest shit I've ever seen.
Yep.
And I love it. What did you think, Len?
I absolutely freaking loved it. The Invincible comic is one of my favorite comic books of all time. It is so good. And this was just spot on as an adaptation. They made some, I thought, speaking to the voice acting, I think that the casting, they made some very smart choices with the casting. First of all, with Stephen Yeun as Mark Grayson / Invincible. I don't know if I necessarily would have heard him as Invincible, but now I can't unhear him as Invincible. J.K. Simmons and Sandra Oh as his parents are spot on. I think the one casting that just absolutely blew me away was Zachary Quinto as Robot.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's perfect.
I thought he was just like spot on perfect. So the
Walton
casting,
Goggins as Cecil, I don't care for.
It's
Yeah.
strange. He doesn't. The voice doesn't match the face on that.
Right,
No, he's not
right.
grizzled. He's like hillbilly grizzled. And it's like, that's not Cecil. Cecil's like a smoker for 80 years grizzled, not
Well, you know, but you know
rope
what?
and cowboy.
But to a degree, I hear you, but I like that kind of like subverting expectations with that, because the Cecil character is not the character himself, as you will learn, is not necessarily as he is depicted. Like his depiction may leads you to think that he is one type of character and he actually isn't. And I'll also say that that also is the same point with I just have here with Adam Eve, her casting, which is I'm trying to
Gillian Jacobs.
Yeah, Gillian Jacobs. That is absolutely not 100% the voice that I heard coming from Adam Eve as I read the comic book. But it's great. It's so smart because it subverts her look, the image of the character. That voice is totally different. See you, Ben. Thank you for staying with us so long.
Yeah,
it's just great. And the animation, like you said, JD, man, when it needs to be, they put their budget where they need it. And oh my God, like I have never goddamn so much on a series. I've watched all 3 episodes, and I was like, oh god damn, yo, this joint was insane.
Yeah, there's JD left the stream for a second. I'm not exactly sure why, but he'll be back. There was the cool thing about it's a very direct adaptation. The way that the show is structured is exactly how it's structured in the comic book. In so much, and also too, it should be respected. Like there was an unspoken rule in comic book world for The Walking Dead. We don't talk about it. We don't spoil it. Even if you say I'm going to give you spoilers, you just don't do it. The same thing with Invincible. Like there's this weird reverence that people just don't spoil it because, and so the show should be treated the same way. It's structured the exact same way where things get revealed and microphones drop, but then they just keep escalating in a very, very enjoyable and shocking way. And I love the fact that we never got around to doing this for book club because my wife hasn't read it yet. So she has no fucking idea when things drop that they're about to. Whereas I'm just like, what's going to happen? So the end of the first episode, you get your first kind of taste of that, how wild the show can get. And it is a prolonged sequence of very disturbing violence.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was just like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, this is episode 1, sweetie. Let's go to 2.
Yeah.
And the show just progressively gets better.
2's what the fuck moment was really cool too. Which I don't remember happening in the series, or at least not to that extent, because holy shit. I was like, oh my, ugh. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. You definitely need to go into it knowing that it's very violent.
Yes, you do need to know that. Like you said, this is a R-rated series, and it's not R-rated because of any titillation. It's R-rated because of some of its themes, its language, and its blood. I used to joke about the Invincible comic book that there are literally some issues that are just colored in red. That's how much blood is on the screen. It's on the panels, and the TV series keeps that right in place. And it's interesting, like that prolonged segment that Noah alluded to in the first episode. In the comic book, it's not prolonged. In the comic book, you just walk in on it. It's happened. So them actually seeing it, it's like, oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, it's handling things in a slightly different manner, but just as engaging, I think. I was surprised, Noel was talking about Sam and how she reacted to the end of the first episode, and I was so sure Susha would be in. I was like, oh, she's gonna do this. This is gonna be cool. She's gonna be surprised. And then it was time to watch episode 2 the next night. I was like, watch Invincible, and she was like, nah, you're fine. I'm gonna nap. I'm like, oh, all right. Never mind. That's cool. It's not for everybody, but I think it's absolutely great. Zach Hilton has come.
Real quick, because I know this is going to go take us someplace else. Just real quick, I also like how they change some of the characters just to kind of, for lack of a better word, diversify the visual cast.
Who?
Amber, the character of Amber.
Oh, I forgot Amber. She's a blonde. She's a blonde in the original cartoon, original comics, right? And now she's a black girl.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was the same character. I kind of forgot about Amber.
Right.
Because it's been, you don't see her for a long time since the beginning. I like the design of this Amber. She's cool looking.
Yeah, she's cool. And also, if I remember correctly, the dude with the Rexplode, I don't think he is. I think they've changed his ethnicity as well.
Now, because I was wondering myself this entire time, I was like, is Mark and his mom, have they always been Asian? Because the way that they're drawn in the comic books, I mean, if you look at them, it's not really certain if they're Asian or not, and I don't think it's ever really addressed. So whenever I was reading the comics, I was never quite sure if it was just an artistic choice, like just the way that the characters were designed by the original artist, who happened to draw Asian apparent or Asian adjacent features,
right? Or
if it was actually the case. And so
I don't know. They certainly never remarked on it if they did,
which is also great. If they were always Asian and it never came up, cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Zach. Oh wait. Soon Roboto says soon in the future they're going to make a Radiant Black animated series. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah.
Hey JD, what's your thoughts on DC currently as a retailer? Are you concerned that the prices are too high? What price point is too high for a monthly floppy? I am concerned. I think that the prices are getting a little out of hand. And I understand that with these higher price points are more pages. A lot of the DC books that are going to be coming out are anthology series, which have more page count. A couple of them are like perfect bound, which means they've got that sort of angled spine as opposed to just stapled pages. So you're definitely getting more product. I'm not entirely sure it's still a great idea. I'm of the mind that if you had,
we're talking about,
like $6.99.
Okay. Just
$5.99, $6.99. I'm not tickled by it. I'm of the mind. I remember holding the line at $2.99. And I think if you had the smaller page count, but they were cheaper, you would sell more. Because people would be more inclined to try a new series at $2.99 than they would be at $5.99 or $6.99. So if they're coming into the shop to get this series, Series A, they may try Series B and G.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, look, who's this Red X guy? Oh, maybe check out this Teen Titans Academy. I don't usually read Teen Titans, but it's $2.99. Throw that on the pile. So I think shut up, Siri. So I just think that it's a bit too much. I'm not happy with it. And I also am not happy with all of the anthology series. I don't think many people are that interested in anthology series. I might be proved wrong, and that'd be fine. And I also think DC has a very large problem with focusing almost too much on Batman and Superman. I know that those are that's the butter. Butter's the bread, but I think it's too much. I felt the same way about the animated movies. All of them are Superman and blank, or Batman and blank, or
or Justice League,
or Justice League. So I think that they're shying away from doing the B and C tier characters. And of course, Teen Titans Academy came out this week, so that proves me a little bit wrong, right? But I think overall, there's like how many Batman titles? We've got Batman, We've got Detective. We've got Batman the Detective, which is coming out soon. We've got Batman. What's that other one? Batman, Harley Quinn, White Knight.
Oh yeah, you got
which that just came to an end, but I'm sure there'll be another one of those. We've got Batman, Superman. There's going to be a Robin series, which is Batman, Bat Family. You know what I mean? It's just, come on, guys. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree.
Let's see. Sorry to sidetrack the conversation. Invincible was extremely good. Trailer didn't do it justice. Really well animated. Acting is great. I agree. We all agree. And Robin Roche said $6 is pushed it for me. If the issues aren't larger with better quality, I'll have to come back on the books. Now, they are larger with better quality materials. So I'll be curious to see if that keeps you buying them. Only takes me so far as a reader, right? And Anthony Drago says, what the hell is Aftershock doing? Their recent number ones have been 20 pages for $5. I thought they would be oversized issues. I don't think I'm reading any Aftershock books, so I'm not sure. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
Kelly's in the store. Hi, Kelly. Robert Monroe, if I can get more bang for my buck from movies and books, then that's where my dollars will go. Right? Like, you guys, like, comic books are trying to keep up with video games, television, movies, and they're like, oh, what if we made them more expensive?
I haven't really been listening, but Kelly wanted me to make sure that you knew, because she thought you'd be here, not me. So she's leaving now, wildly disappointed with her decisions today.
Yeah.
That's all.
Understandable.
Yeah, if you want to hang out for like a half hour, he'll be here. Just stand there quietly for a half hour.
And then, what am I missing? We got Invincible, Suicide Squad. Oh, Falcon. Oh, Falcon and Winter Soldier. So we're gonna spoil this. Because it was already spoiled before I even got a chance to watch the episode. So spoiler alert for Falcon and Winter Soldier. But when this series was starting to be talked about, and the fact that we know at the end of Endgame, Falcon got Cap's shield. Everybody I talked to was like, "Oh, what do you think it's going to be about?" And I was like, "I don't know what it's going to be about. I know we're getting Baron Zemo. What I really hope we touch on is a very cool and realistic, in my opinion, storyline that does not get discussed very much when it comes to the legacy of Captain America and who came first. It was retconned about a decade or 15 years ago that Captain America, Steve Rogers was not the first Captain America. That Isaiah Bradley?
Yes.
Isaiah Bradley was the first Captain America. And much in line with, is it the Tuskegee Experiments?
Yes.
The U.S.
Experiment.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to tell the people about the Tuskegee Experiments?
The Tuskegee Experiment is when the U.S. Government experimented on black U.S. I'm drawing about whether or not they were
soldiers or civilians.
Yeah, I think it's like
there were soldiers.
Soldiers, and did like biological experiments, unbeknownst to them, that played out over years. It's a dark period in the U.S. government, one of many, and one of many that has seen the light. And the story of Isaiah Bradley kind of
mirrors that in trying to reproduce Captain America, the U.S. government gives their version of the super soldier serum to a black man to test it out first. Oh, I think I'm misremembering it. My bad. I was under the impression I had remembered it as Isaiah was before Steve. Before they gave Steve the experimental serum, they tested it on Isaiah Bradley. But that's okay. Because what you said was after Captain America, they were trying to recreate the formula and tested it on Isaiah Bradley.
Oh yeah, for some reason I thought it was after. Maybe it was before.
Wasn't it after he was in the? Was it after he was in the ice? Like it was a recreate. They were
trying to recreate
experiment.
him.
They were trying.
okay.
They were
My bad.
testing on soldiers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I misremembered. I thought it was pre-Steve. It's post-Steve. But before they tested on their white soldiers, they tested on black soldiers.
Yeah.
They did a riff
And
on that
so-
too they did a riff on that too in the Ultimate Universe where the Ultimate Universe Nick Fury is actually a part of the Super Soldier
Yeah. Right.
program, the Infinity serum in him.
Formula.
And they actually accidentally created X-Men or they accidentally created the mutants in the
That was kind of neat, yeah. It was revealed
Yeah.
that the mutants weren't a biological anomaly. They were created.
Yeah, it was like it was a biological marker that they tried to what's the word? Jumpstart
Enhance?
or
Yeah.
not enhance, like capitalize on.
Trigger. Well, yeah.
And it just became
So when I heard that they were doing this show, we've got Black Captain America, I was really hopeful that they would touch on Isaiah Bradley and sort of the legacy of that character. And lo and behold, they friggin' did it. So I was just innocently, naively scrolling through my Facebook feed. And don't you know, Newsarama, big image of Truth Number One.
Wow.
Before I got a chance to watch the episode, and I was like, you mother... I'm glad that they're doing it, but boy, was I disappointed that it was spoiled for me ahead of time. It was like in the morning of the day that the episode drops. Why they do this shit? I mean, I know why they do it, because it's clicks and engagement, but boy, was I disappointed. But in the show itself, not only are they dealing with that, but they have a straight up cops show up while Bucky and Sam are just having a conversation in the street, and the cops pull up angry at Sam's existence and making sure that the white guy Bucky is, are you okay, sir? Is everything all right here?
Is he bothering you, sir? Yeah.
Is he bothering you? Unbelievable. Oh, the fact that they went there in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I am very pleasantly surprised. I think that is great that they are having not only the Isaiah Bradley conversation, but just police and profiling in general. Awesome. What did you think, Len?
Well, their whole exploration of the real world implications in the Marvel Universe in regards to race is actually pretty dope and pretty profound in what they're doing, because it shows an attention to detail and to storytelling that you honestly, if you didn't find it in this, you probably wouldn't miss it, because you'd just be getting your jollies from the super heroics going on around. But it just gives that much more resonance to the characters and to the story. Like them being stopped and the cops stopping them in the street was just like real eerie and creepy and real world, There was many moments like this. There was the moment of when Bucky and Sam are forced to actually finally have a conversation with one another by Bucky's psychiatrist. And, Bucky is telling Sam, how he feels he did the wrong thing and by giving up the shield and because Steve gave it to you and like, you shouldn't have done that, dude. What were you thinking? And I like Sam sitting there listening to him. And he's like, yo, without even saying that y'all don't know what it is in my shoes, to be in my shoes, and what it would have meant for me to have that shield in, who I am in this world. He just says, you and Steve are going to have to wrap your heads around that. I thought I was doing the right thing for me, for the country, and whatever. And then that's it. He didn't have to go into no so long soliloquy, because if you were a black man watching that, you knew exactly where he was coming from. And I appreciated them just going there. As they went there everywhere with the whole way that things play out with Isaiah Bradley and why he is so mad at the stage of his life that he is. This is a guy who, they say it, he was superheroing for the government, but is now living in the ghetto. He is living in a ramshackle house, obviously like riddled with, looks like, pain from whatever they did to him. Whatever they did to him and what they had him do. Just the story that was just there in just those mere minutes with the character, right? Just really some good storytelling. I mean, yes, is there action in this episode? Sure. Or do we see more of the U.S. agent? Yes. You see the new Bucky / Battlestar. These are characters ripped straight from the comics, so they've been there before. And the riff on those characters are interesting as well. So that's dope and that's fun. And it's comic books coming to life right before your eyes. But that, and then just the real world stuff just blended in. It's, again, classic Marvel TV, classic Marvel comics coming to life on the screen. And fuck you, Marvel, you did it again.
They did. I love that they are using these television shows as a way to slow it down and deal with ramifications of their films, the emotional and societal ramifications. The whole WandaVision was about grief, and she's not a perfect character. She was a superhero. She had to deal with the PTSD and the grief that come from being a superhero in this world, and now we're dealing with race relations and police, I don't want to say brutality, but like profiling, the fact that these cops had their hands on their pistols when addressing Sam, but then as soon as they start dealing with Bucky, oh, sorry, sir, we have to take you in because your court mandated blah, blah, blah. Oh, and they were very apologetic to the white guy. And they just didn't, the only time they treat Sam differently is when they realize he's a celebrity, basically, right?
Right.
No,
I don't know if I'm sorry, I'm just joining and I was only half listening here and there, but there's a couple things about Falcon and the Winter Soldier that I don't know if you guys have talked about yet. I know that you talked about Isaiah Bradley, which I thought was fantastic. But two scenes that explicitly kind of stuck out to me in this episode that I'm glad happened. Well, three scenes. The first one being John Walker. He's not a foil. Well, he's a foil, but he's not an antagonist. Like, he has very earnest intentions and origins. Like, he is a full character. He's not just a force to deal with, which I really, really enjoyed. They're probably going to turn him bad and it's going to be misunderstanding and blah, blah, blah. But either way, as it stands, I like where he comes from. His very quick, it's a very economic storytelling, how quickly they ingratiated me to him. The therapy scene with both Bucky and Falk was phenomenal. And not just the hilarity about it, but Bucky being able to express that if you didn't take the shield, that means all this other house of cards falls away and I'm just fucking assassin. I'm nobody. Because it all is tied to choices that Steve makes. Like, he judges himself based off of what Steve thinks. So Steve thought I was salvageable and he thought you should be captain. If you can't be captain, then I'm not salvageable, which I thought was an amazing emotional beat for the character. Made me love him more. And then, I think you guys have talked about it. The Black Falcon conversation. He's just like, it's just Falcon. It's not Black Falcon.
Yeah.
Are you
Black Kid?
Black Kid. Yeah. I love that. That was great. But I love the show. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying it. You were talking, Len, about Falcon's response to that, because I felt the weight of what Winter Soldier was saying, what Bucky was saying in that therapy session, I thought that a little bit of their, it felt like, what's the word I want to look for? Yeah, I guess needling each other, but it felt very improv-y of like the two of them having to put their knees between each other's knees and stuff and moving. And it was just like trying a little bit too hard to like antagonize each other in a way that felt fake. You know what I mean? Like not those actual characters. It just felt like they're doing a gag while they're filming, you know? But yeah, you were talking about what Winter Soldier says and how he is so haunted by his mistakes and what he did while he was under mind control. And the fact that the only thing that sort of is keeping him together is the fact that Steve, this paragon of morality, believed in him. And so when we're dealing with Falcon and Falcon just being like, nah, he was wrong, I don't want it. And then his reaction to Bucky sort of pouring his heart out to him was almost like tough titty toenails, bro. Can we go work? We're not going to have to deal with each other ever again. I'm out. I don't care about this. I was a little disappointed in that character for having that response. But you were saying as a black man, that read as true.
Yes. Yeah. It read as true to me because, you know, I know what you went through. You went through some shit, right? I went through shit too. I'm going through shit. Me with that shield would have been me opening myself and my family up to shit. Yeah. So I knew that for me, the best thing for me to do was to not be carrying that shield right now, especially when, admittedly, in his mind, if I'm not carrying the shield, so now the shield just becomes this symbol that people can look to. He's not thinking that they're, you know, the U.S. government is also going to be putting this in somebody else's hands. You know what I mean? And you also have to remember, if I remember, there was at least a line item about the U.S. government kind of like coming after him for the shield too. So he's thinking like he's doing the right thing. He's never thinking that, oh, they just going to put it in somebody else's hand as well. And all that is left unsaid. It's not that doesn't feel for Bucky. He does, but he also is like, I hear you. Now hear the shit that I'm dealing with.
Oh, but
and
see,
don't ever want to see that.
That's my thing, though, is that like he doesn't do that. He doesn't open himself up to Bucky the way that Bucky opens himself up to him. I guess maybe because he's working, he's, you know, in the middle of working on therapy and getting to that place that he can say those things. But I'm hoping, I wonder, is that information coming eventually from Sam, or are we're just inferring that from his, can we get on with the job? I don't have time for this. We don't have to deal with each other ever again after this.
I read it that way. You don't understand. And it proceeded right after the scene with the cops. So I did read it that way of like, you don't understand. It's not just choosing a job. It's not just like making a promise. It's literally, it was a very short, you don't understand how race works.
Right.
Conversation. Like it's not as simple as taking on his shield. It's much more complicated with me having to deal with everyone's questioning of my validity as a human, let alone
there we go.
Taking over the mantle.
My point is we three, the viewers, get that. Are they going to make that explicit for other viewers is my question.
I don't know.
See what I mean?
No, I hear you. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't maybe touch on it again. But I like that I like that they didn't hit it over the head here because to Sam's point, there was a ticking clock. We have taken this pause, and there is a very serious ticking clock because he doesn't say, he said, let's deal with what we got to deal with, and then we don't have to deal with each other anymore. You can deal with your stuff. Yeah. God bless you. And I'll go deal with my stuff. God bless me. But let's work together and go to work. I hear you. I'm here for this therapy session. This was great. Fun. Are we done?
I'm hoping, I like that as the beginning of the series. I'm hoping by the end of the series, they make up.
We got 4 more episodes.
Oh, that's
I
it?
think it's-
4? There's only 4 more
There's
episodes?
6. Yeah, there's
Well,
6
yeah,
total.
it's-
6 hours.
Yeah, 6 total.
You
so
mother...
there's only 4 more.
Yeah, they were doing a thing where it's kind of the same amount of time as WandaVision, except that they're longer episodes, more like a procedural drama. So there's like 45 to an hour long episodes, 6 of them versus 9 half-hour to 45-minute episodes. It just kind of all evens out. But yeah, I hope like this is just a protracted buddy cop movie. So like we're still in the first act where they still are like foils against each other.
Yeah. It's Turner and Hooch. Right now, right now, the dog is still chewing on the inside of the car.
Well, I mean, and
we haven't gotten
Bucky is the animal, is the untrained animal in this instance too. Because
was that not obvious?
Bucky's Hooch.
Ruffy's Hooch or Bucky's Hooch.
Bucky's Hooch. Very inaudible. Lots of terrors.
John Walker is probably going to suffer side effects from the super soldier serum. Like Blonsky in the Incredible Hulk, says action figure expert. Yeah. Well, he doesn't have the super soldier serum yet. I have a feeling because he keeps failing as Captain America, he's going to start dosing.
So I have a feeling it's going to be something like that, but more so now we know that there's 8 successful other super soldiers, thinking that it was completely lost, which is a thread point, or which is a plot thread that they left dead after Civil War. Like the secret to the super soldier serum was there in that mountain
bunker
cavern. In by Hydra, but then Zemo shot all of the soldiers in the head. However, that tech and that information, we don't know where it is. So I think the existence of these 8 other super soldiers that are flag smashers is going to precipitate John Walker, either the government putting him in the situation or him putting himself in the situation to dose. Yeah. But as it stands right now, he's got nothing. He's just a dude like Falcon.
Someone pointed out they like that John Walker is good. He's like trying his hardest, and he is pretty good with the shield. Better with the shield than I anticipated a regular guy would be. But they pointed out that the way he uses the shield is bunk one person, bunk one person, bunk one person, as opposed to Cap, Steve, who was like ding, 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 ding. He would like knock out 10 people with one shield throw. And this is guy just like one. Although he does do that really cool scene, that really cool move where his Bucky, whose name is, I forgot.
Battlestar,
where Battlestar is falling off the truck and he throws the shield to catch him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's great. It's a great series, and I'm excited about it. I'm bummed that it's not more episodes.
Hey, was that Eli Bradley?
Yes.
I think that's certainly who we're meant to.
Yes. So I have a feeling that kid who was in the house is going to be
Patriot
from the Young Avengers. It sounds like they're setting up Young Avengers, which I am 100% here for.
Yeah,
Super
man,
stoked.
they're just checking off all these boxes, all these characters that are Stature, Kate Bishop, Eli Bradley, the twins. Like, just keep checking off these boxes. Ironheart, we can make her a Young Avenger. Why the hell not?
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap it up for the day?
Nope.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for the last couple of hours. It's always a pleasure. Join us every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. where we will do it all again. You can join us at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays where I do an unboxing video and I show you all the different stuff that's coming out at my local comic shop, at your local comic shop, Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex. And we also throw up Thunder Rounds where we review books for about 60 seconds just for shits and giggles. I'm going to try and team up with Len the Bat Tribble here to do a Batman, The Untold Tales of Batman mini-series review. That is a book I bought in digest form off the rack when I was a kid. And it was one of my first experiences of Batman. And it was like a retelling of his origin story after Crisis. And there's some kooky stuff in there by John Byrne and Jim Aparo artwork, which is very cool. So I guess that's it. Patreon.com/Johnny Destructo. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We love you. Thank you so much. And we will talk at you later.